Hello and welcome to Cargo Masterminds, our weekly episode of interview series with global air cargo leaders. Air cargo is one of the most important facilitator of global trade, and today more than ever, air cargo is even more critical as the world's population waits to get the COVID vaccines. With various intensities of travel restrictions still imposed across countries to contain the spread of the coronavirus and its mutants around the world, passenger aviation is minimal and therefore restricts air cargo capacity. However, air cargo industry is innovating and creating solutions under extremely challenging conditions to deal with the current crisis. Even after a year of intense lockdown measures by countries and even with the availability of COVID vaccines, not one but many, the challenge continues. But the stakeholders of the air cargo industry is unwilling to give up and they continue to be creative. My guest today is someone who has been a passionate air cargo professional with more than 2 decades of experience. I'm happy to have Martin Drew, Senior Vice President, Sales and Cargo, Etihad Aviation Group, join me in today's episode of Cargo Masterminds. Martin joined Etihad Airways in 2005. For close to 2 years, he was based in Mumbai, heading the cargo operations of Jet Airways, in which Etihad had a significant stake and substantially grew Jet's cargo business. In November last year, Martin was appointed Senior Vice President, Sales and Cargo at Etihad Aviation Group. He is a member of the airline's executive management team and lead global passenger sales and oversee all aspects of Etihad Cargo. It has been 4 months since he took charge of the cargo operations at Etihad, and it has been hectic. Martin, welcome to Cargo Masterminds.
Thanks, Reggie. Good to be here. Good to see you. It's been a long time, so it's nice to see you. Nice to catch up with you again.
Martin, 4 months in the current role, bring us up to speed. What has been happening at Etihad? It's been quite a hectic 4 months.
It certainly has. Yeah, it's been quite a time to return to cargo, and as you mentioned, I've got a sort of dual responsibility now, where I'm responsible for cargo as well as passenger sales, and I think you could safely say there's probably not two more contrasting businesses at the moment. Obviously, very, very different market conditions on both sides of the business. But from a cargo standpoint, I think my 4 months back so far, it's obviously been very much focused on continuing to sort of navigate our way through this pandemic. And I think something that I've been very focused on since my return to cargo is to really focus on partnerships. And I think throughout this crisis, it's really emphasized the importance of partnerships. And we have some very, very strong partnerships across the industry. And what we've really been focusing on how do we enhance those partnerships even more, because ultimately we're all in this together. And it's something that we need strong partnerships to see us through this crisis. So for me, it's about focusing on how do we get closer to our partners, ensuring that we're easy to do business with, that we're flexible. And as I said, again, I know that together we'll sort of navigate our way through this crisis. I think from an operational standpoint, there's obviously been a lot of focus on that in terms of ensuring that we're deploying capacity where it's needed. Obviously, there is some constraints at the moment globally in terms of air cargo capacity. So it's about us deploying our capacity as best we can to try and satisfy demand. So it's about focusing on further optimizing our network. We've applied a pretty creative approach, as many sort of combination airlines have now, in terms of deploying passenger aircraft purely for cargo purposes. We have now a number of aircraft, 777-300s, where we have stripped out the seats, and we're looking to see if we can do that with more. And again, on the partnership piece, we've now entered into a partnership with the Hope Consortium, which I know we'll talk about in a bit, as well as more recently, we've signed an MOU with UNICEF, which we're really excited about. So, so just in general, it's been about sort of ensuring that our network is optimized, but really focusing on our customers and ensuring that we have, we're continually enhancing our partnerships.
Martin, a few more details about how you actually orchestrated cargo capacity. Of course, it still continues to be a problem. Capacity is limited. The demand is on the high. Tell us about some of those innovative methods, cargo-only passenger flights, repurposing some of your 777-300ER for cargo to be lodged on the passenger cabins. So tell us what are the how many aircraft have been deployed, how many flights have been cargo only flights so far. If you can provide a few more details about it.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, I think the position we find ourselves in now compared to a year ago is very different from a capacity standpoint. Obviously, the capacity crunch that's been witnessed as a result of the grounding of so many wide-bodied, in particular, passenger aircraft, led to this severe imbalance in terms of demand outweighing supply from a capacity standpoint. From an Etihad standpoint, the way that we addressed that, I think we were very quick to react in terms of not only ensuring that we're optimizing our 5 777 freighters, but also as well deploying passenger aircraft purely for cargo purposes. If I think sort of a year ago that we would be doing what we're doing now, or what we have done during the last year, I just wouldn't have believed it. But we're deploying primarily our 787-9s and -10s purely for cargo purposes. But in addition to that, what we've also done is remove the seats on 5 777-300ERs, and we're looking to see if we can do the same with a number of other units. And what that's enabled us to do is really give us that even more flexibility of being able to deploy those aircraft. And of course, those aircraft are you are limited in a way to markets that have the right type of cargo that can be for that sort of operation. Of course, it needs to be cargo that can be manually loaded onto the main deck. But of course, with many of the markets in terms of those garment producing markets, there is a number of markets within our network that type of operation is suitable. But I think that what we've shown throughout this crisis is just how agile and how flexible we can be, and that's of course key to being successful in the air cargo business.
Martin, have you restored all your freighter network destinations after the lockdown, and what has been the utilization of your 5 777 freighters?
Yeah, so the network has all been resumed. It was, if anything, it was enhanced, it was intensified as the fateful day of the 25th of March was a day which will always live with us at Etihad. That was the day we grounded all passenger services. So what we did was we reacted very quickly. First of all, we sort of ramped up our dedicated freighter operations. As you said, we have 5 777 freighters. But within 24 hours, we had deployed our first passenger aircraft purely for cargo purposes. And then within 48 hours, we created a freighter network, if you will, deploying 787s and 777s. And in terms of the 777 freighters, we're flying them hard, as you'd expect. We're averaging about 16 and a half hours a day in terms of utilization. And we're constantly looking to see how we can further optimize that.
Martin, on the Hope Foundation, you've been one of the significant partner in the Hope Foundation initiative, and also your partnership with the UNICEF among many other airlines, about 16 of them as of now. Tell us about these partnership for the potential COVID vaccine transport. I think you've already started COVID vaccine transport already under Hope Consortium, and I think soon you would start flying vaccines for the UNICEF as well.
Yeah, so let me start off with the Hope Consortium. So the Hope Consortium was created in December, and really the Hope Consortium is a pretty unique initiative. It brings together public and private sector companies, many Abu Dhabi key stakeholders. It's a consortium that's led by the Abu Dhabi Department of Health, and effectively what this is a significant milestone in Abu Dhabi, creating itself as a global distribution hub for the COVID-19 vaccine. And of course, Etihad, as the national carrier of the UAE, will play a pivotal role in helping with the distribution of the vaccine. And where I think the consortium is pretty unique is that as it's led by the Department of Health, there is that procurement of the vaccine element to it as well. So the vaccines are being procured from all manufacturers, being brought into Abu Dhabi by Etihad. We've already operated a large number of flights. I think to date we've carried about 8 million doses, but there's plans for a lot more. And the vaccine will be brought into Abu Dhabi and then distributed globally from Abu Dhabi. So it's a pretty unique initiative, one that we're very excited about. And I think, as I said, it's really going to put Abu Dhabi on the map in terms of as a distribution hub for the vaccine. And this is more of a sort of long-term play as well to create Abu Dhabi as a distribution hub for pharma and life science products going forward. And then, of course, as relates to the UNICEF program, something, as you mentioned, we're one of a number of carriers that are part of that now, something that we are incredibly honoured to be part of, be part of this this UNICEF effort to ensure that the vaccines are distributed around the world and to reach those those in need as well. So the fact we're part of this program is something that we're very excited about and honoured to be part of. And I think this, combined with the Hope Consortium, this is sort of Etihad playing its part in helping the world to try and rid the world of this virus.
Martin, let me take you to some of your vertical business. I remember, perhaps maybe all of last year you had only a focus on PPEs and healthcare products. Probably all your other verticals must have gone for a toss. How are you realigning the business, different verticals, so your perishables, your live animals, and other key verticals? And where do you see your pharma life as a significant vertical business in your portfolio of your products?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, Reggie, I think, to be honest, in terms of some of the product offerings that we had, I think maybe we had too many products, and we've now narrowed that down. And as you rightly say, there was a lot of these products in terms of sky stable, so the equine movement. Of course, during last year, we really saw very limited movements of equine, of live animals, because PPE was taking priority over everything for those, when we saw that PPE phenomenon. So there are a number of these products that sort of, there were limited activity last year, but now what we're starting to see is a return of the movement of a lot of these commodities. So, we have in addition to sky stables, we have the live animal product, Fast Track, our express product, Flight Valet as well for the movement of cars. So a lot of these verticals, we're now starting to see the return of activity. But of course, the big one, and we actually sort of relaunched this product, is Pharma Life, so our pharmaceutical product. We are IR to CIV certified, and we've been carrying pharma like many airlines and focused on that vertical for a long time. So of course, it's now more important than ever with the for the distribution of the COVID-19 vaccine. But it's good that we have already have a very robust product offering in place from a Pharma Life perspective. And of course, there's been some pretty significant investment around that to ensure that we are able to we're able to ensure product integrity, maintain the temperature requirements. We have agreements with a number of partners that provide active containers. So therefore, we're able to ensure that product integrity. Also, as well, partnerships that we have with technology companies that allow us to track and to monitor temperature of some of these shipments. So yeah, we are starting to see these other verticals sort of return. Pharma Life still is our sort of I suppose our most popular product at the moment, and that's with the continuing growth of pharmaceuticals, in this, even after we've seen the global distribution of the vaccine, obviously that's going to be an incredibly important one for us.
Martin, will you be investing more resources into the Pharma Life vertical?
Well, it's something that we're very focused on. We've got we now have sort of experts in that pharma vertical that we've brought in. So we have that sort of in-house expertise. As I said, there's been a lot of investment in terms of the hub, increasing our cold store capabilities. The partnerships that we have in terms of now with the active containers. So it's and I think also as well, and the Hope Consortium sort of illustrates this, is that with other partnerships that we have in Abu Dhabi ports, for example, so Khalifa Port, so Kizad at Khalifa Port, the capabilities they have in terms of storage capabilities is incredible. I mean, they have a facility that can store up to 6 billion doses of the COVID-19 vaccine, and they've got plans to expand that facility even further, where they'll be actually able to store up to 18 billion doses. So again, this sort of plays into the whole strategy around creating Abu Dhabi becoming a real sort of pharma and life sciences hub for the region.
Martin, how did you re-engage with your customers? Because one of the biggest challenges last year, particularly during the lockdown, was the priority was all about PPE, and a lot of your customers, your long-term customers, did not have the priority in terms of the other products and verticals. So how did you realign your engagement with your key customers?
Yeah, well, I mean, look, I think the last 12 months is something that we've never experienced before, and I think, as I opened with, I think what it really emphasised is the value of partnerships. So for me, coming back to the cargo side of the business, and I think having been on the passenger side for the last 5.5 years, and obviously still having responsibility on that side, but now assuming responsibility for cargo, I think what really stood out for me when drawing the comparisons between the two sides of the business is, the cargo industry is a close-knit industry. Your client base is pretty small in comparison to on the passenger side. And therefore, whilst of course partnership is important on the passenger side, I think it's even more important on the cargo side of the business, because your client base is that much smaller, because your key global accounts control so much of global air freight. So therefore, you have to have a strong relationship with all of these partners. So again, it was what really was emphasised during this crisis was the requirement to have as strong as possible partnerships. Again, it's about being as flexible as possible and being easy to do business with. And that's something that we've really focused on about ensuring that we have the strongest possible partnerships possible.
No, one of the important trends that we noticed over the last 1 year during the lockdown, people being restricted or not being allowed to move out, or many of them working from home. We have seen also there's a significant change in the customer buying patterns. There was no choice, but people had to order online. And we also seen the e-retail portion of the retail business really significantly growing. How would you, as Etihad Cargo, going forward, prioritize your focus on e-commerce?
I think there's still some uncertainty about what the future of the air cargo market's going to look like. But I think the one thing that we can be certain of is that e-commerce is going to be something that's going to continue to grow at a rapid rate. Now, of course, there was sizable growth of e-com in advance of the pandemic, but what the pandemic resulted in was a boom in e-com as a result of, as you said, the amount of people that were buying online. I think IATA quoted that there was over 2 billion people that shopped online in 2020, and of course that's something that's just going to continue to grow. I think 80% as well of cross-border e-com is transported by air, so it's a huge thing for the cargo industry, and something that's going to continue to grow in the coming years. And I think from an Etihad standpoint, it's something that we are focused on in terms of how do we get a larger share of that business. Obviously, we see the likes of Amazon, of Alibaba, what these guys are doing, the fact that they certainly from an Amazon perspective, the approach they're taking in terms of having a lot of their own controlled capacity. And I think this is something that we need to accept is going to happen. And I think rather than actually fighting this in any way, we need to be seeing how can we be part of this? How can we work more with an Alibaba, with an Amazon to provide that solution for the e-com demand, which as I said, is just going to continue to grow at a rapid rate. So it poses a huge opportunity, and I think it's changed the landscape in terms of the outlook for the air cargo market tremendously. And it's whilst we saw the PPE sort of boom last year in terms of those 2 or 3 months where PPE took priority over everything, understandably, the fact that you then had the e-com volume coming through and growing at a rate, and we know that this is something, we knew that the PPE phenomenon was exactly that. It was short-lived, but we know with e-com, this is a different, this is going to be here and going to continue to grow, and therefore it's it's something that we really need to focus on how do we play a bigger role in that sector.
Martin, I think even the boom in e-commerce is also because of the rapid digitalization that we have seen across different industries. And air freight also has come to a stage where you have a lot of digitalization initiatives taking place. Today, air freight capacity is bought and sold on the marketplaces. You have a partnership with cargo.one, which sells your capacity online in the marketplace. What is the digitalization roadmap for Etihad Cargo going forward, and what are some of the significant learnings that you picked in the last 1 year?
Yeah, so I think our digitalization strategy has really supported our own operation and clients during this pandemic. What we're now able to do is provide a seamless booking process using Etihad cargo.com, as well as the portals such as cargo.one, as web cargo by Freightos, and it's minimised the need for paper airway bills. I mean, again, when I think about when I moved away from the cargo business 5.5 years ago and then coming back, I think the progress we've made from a digitalisation perspective is incredible. I mean, I always used to remember going to various sort of conferences and everything else, and you would just hear the same thing over and over again, and just that there was seemingly no progress being made. It's really, really refreshing to see just how far we've come. And from an Etihad standpoint, this has been a key focus for us. I think in terms of our e-airway bill penetration, we averaged around about 16% last year, and now we're at 75%. So it's we're in we're in the top 10 carriers in the world in terms of e-airway bill penetration. So it's something that we've focused a huge amount of attention on, made a lot of investments on, and something that we'll continue to do. So digitalization has been key for us, key for the industry. The progress that's been made is great. It really is.
Martin, does your dual role of looking at heading the sales for the passenger division of Etihad and the cargo head of Etihad Group, does that actually give you a lot more of ideas in terms of how digitalization can take place in the cargo side of the business?
It does, yeah. I mean, this is something that we always used to talk about, how much more advanced the passenger side was in terms of technology, in terms of sort of digitalization. So there is, so there's a number of things that I think we can learn from that side of the business, but I think also as well, vice versa. And again, I think with the progress that's been made on the cargo side of the business, we're rapidly catching up with the passenger side from a technology standpoint. We really are.
Martin, how do you look at your last 4 months of life at Etihad Cargo?
It's been a bit of a whirlwind, Reggie, to be honest. As I said, having sort of responsibility for the passenger side as well, you've got two very contrasting businesses. But I have to say, there's not many good things that have come out of this pandemic, as we know. But for me, one of the positives is the fact that the cargo division, I think, and this is not this is not exclusive to Etihad, but within any combination carrier, I think cargo is rightly getting the recognition it always deserved now. I think within Etihad, cargo has always been a key part of our business. But of course, with what's gone on in the last 12 months, cargo has become effectively a lifeline for the airline, and then we're seeing that obviously across the industry. So cargo now very much has a seat at the table in terms of discussions around overall strategy, network planning. We're up to 56 destinations again, passenger destinations. But the reason we've been able to start growing our network again is primarily because of cargo and because of the contribution that cargo has given. So the value that cargo brings and continues to bring to the airline is huge. And for me, to be back on this side of the business now, and having done this over the last 4 months, it's been an exciting ride. But I know that there's still, in terms of the current outlook, the outlook remains very bright for the air cargo industry. So it's been a whirlwind, and as I said, two very contrasting businesses, but it's really exciting times from a cargo perspective.
Martin, to my last question, we are just about a month away from closing the current fiscal. So how do you expect to close 2020, 2021 for Etihad Cargo?
So 2020 was a record year for Etihad Cargo. I won't quote any numbers because we're about to publish our financial results in the next week, but it was a record year, and the targets that we've set for 21 is effectively for us to replicate what we achieved in 2020, which will be a challenge, but something that I know we'll achieve. It's the results have been strong, and again, it's cargo has been an absolute lifeline for the airline, and I think with the continued uncertainty as to when we're going to see any return of any meaningful passenger demand, that cargo will continue to be a shining light for Etihad for this year as well, and I think well into 2022 as well. So it was a record year, 2020, and we need to replicate what we achieved in 2020 and 21. We've got plans to look to see how we gain access to more capacity. As I mentioned, we are looking to see if we can strip out more seats on 777s. We were pretty late to the party as relates to that type of operating, and the thought was, if we missed the boat here. But I think that, certainly the conclusion was no, there's still a lot of life left in this. So actually, in addition to the 5 aircraft we have with the seats removed today, as I said, we're looking to see how we can strip more out, and obviously we'll continue to focus on deploying and growing our passenger network through using cargo demand as the base for that, and of course we'll continue to fully optimize our 777 freighters.
Thanks, Martin, for being part of this interview series, and really appreciate your time, and I'd like to wish you the very best.
Thanks, Reggie. Great talking to you. Take care.
That was Martin Drew, Senior Vice President, Sales and Cargo at Etihad Aviation Group. Join us again next week with a new episode of Cargo Masterminds featuring a new air cargo leader.